Okay, welcome to Smart Investing with Philippe. So I hope that you are all doing really well. This is the time for the market update. After another day of full of volatility, full intraday volatility, we started the day really, really well, and then the market just collapsed back again to the low level of yesterday. We're gonna say the huge candlestick, that we have today, the one we had yesterday. It seems like the VIX also just started to rocket up again today, as yesterday it was actually coming down, and all of this because Donald Trump announcement that he will probably slap 104% on Chinese imports, and he's actually sparking a lot of fears of a trade war. And actually, what he's doing is very erratic, and the market doesn't really like these erratic things. They are not used to a lot of changes, a lot of drama. And then one day it's 34%, the next day is 104%, and why not tomorrow another 200%? And the market doesn't like it at all, especially that if you look at the US and everything that they import from China, if suddenly everything is like double price, then imagine all the company that has to sell all these goods for double price. They're not going to manage. They're going to cancel all the goods, and there will be a lot of impact on the US economy, but also on the Chinese economy and the global economy. So I hope that the Chinese will not play the saving phase, because the Asian, they are a lot about saving phase. I worked almost like 5 to 10 years between Singapore and Hong Kong, and I've been in Asia many years. And I tell you, these people, they don't like to be forced doing things, especially publicly, and they want to have their arm twisted, and they want to save face, like they call saving face. For them, the honor is more important than everything else. So I hope they're not gonna like break. They're not gonna like turn off the Chinese, or turn off because they are the only one being turned off, because the European, they're gonna cave. All the other countries have caved already, so the only tough one is really China. European, they're gonna cave. They're already starting to cave. It's not a big deal. The big deal is about China. And wow, what a day! I'm gonna show you now on the chart, but I want to remind you, please subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment. Leave every comment that you want into the video comment section, and I will reply to you. I think we have to go through this tough time together. The volatility is just insane. The market goes sharply up today, and then bang, it collapses back to the lows. And you just wonder when it's gonna stop. I have to tell you also what I did at the end of the video, what change I've made to my portfolio, because this is one of the strategies you can also do in your portfolio, what I'm going to explain you at the end of the video. So stick with me, and let's go through the market update. We're not gonna take so much time to do it. We have to make it short and sweet, to the point, and what action we can do to improve our situation. Start with QQQ. RSI. Okay, we're going to start with QQQ. Okay, let's start with QQQ. You can see the huge candlestick that we have. Look at yesterday, Yesterday was a green candlestick, but look at the size of it, In intraday, you have a volatility of 10%. And today again, variation of 10% in one day. This is crazy, Today is 8%. Can you just believe intraday volatility 10% from the up and the down? This is just insane. Very difficult to stay calm and to stay very grounded and not to panic. But I can tell you, I'm actually managing to do that. I make some few changes in my portfolio. But I want to tell you also, the RSI is extremely oversold on the daily chart. And this is quite a good sign, because we're going to see also some of the statistics I want to show you on the number of stocks above the 5-day moving average, 100-day moving, 150-day moving average, 200 moving average days. And then you can see that we are at the lowest level ever, even back to 2020 on the COVID time, even back to the level of previous major crisis. So it is a sign maybe of bottoming out, but we never know. But we're going to see that on the chart. So let's QQQ, minus 175, and during the day we were quite plus 3%. If you remember, when we were around 442, then we were more or less plus 3 to 4% on the day, and then bang, it collapsed back to minus 2%. This is just insane, This is just insane. I can't believe that, Just insane. Okay, let's now go to... Let's now go to the S&P 500. Same. Huge intraday volatility. And all of this because of the headlines. Headline: Donald Trump wants to slap 104% tariff on Chinese goods. China said they're gonna fight this trade war to the end, which means they prefer to die than cave. Let me laugh, but this is with my money you are playing, guys. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm already like down almost close to $100,000. I understand. The fear. More than 6 figures down already. It's not the first time. COVID time I had much more than that. So I've seen that before in my portfolio, but I really don't like it. Even if I know it's temporary, even if I know it's going to recover. This is the first time since decades and decades we don't see so much chaos and so much uncertainty in the market. And with Donald Trump, it's his second mandate. He knows that he has to do everything in his mandate. Otherwise, if the Democrats come back into power, then maybe going to revenge on him on whatsoever. Then he knows that he has to fix everything in these 4 years. And he knows that next year is the midterm, so he cannot do this type of stuff that he does now the next year, the midterm. So he just play everything on the table and to the end, like a big bet, He doesn't care if the market crash for 50% or more. I do care, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care at all. He's a billionaire. He doesn't care about all the pensioners. Everybody is losing money on the savings. Doesn't care at all because he's a billionaire, right? Why do you want him to care, The rich people, they have 300 billion or 100 billion or 50 billion, even 1 billion. They lose half of their money. They still have billions left, What do they care, So at the end of the day, that's why people, they are so stupid to be cheering for politicians. These people, they don't give a shit about you, So just try to make as much money as possible. Don't take sides. Don't take side for Donald Trump or the others or whatsoever. This is a game we have no influence. We have just to watch and try to position the best as we can to make money or not to lose money. That's all we can do. And so far, history tells us that when this volatility is so high, the best course of action is to buy and consolidate your portfolio. And this is exactly what I'm doing. And I will show it to you at the end of this video. You can see S&P 500, RSI extremely oversold. And that's a good sign because we've never been oversold that much, Even if you go back to 2022, 2020, you see? Even 2020, yeah, only in 2020 we were at the same level. The last time also Donald Trump tariff, we also reached that level of 20 RSI. So the last time we had 2018 during last Trump tariff, then we had 2020, and then when we reach again now, this oversold territory at 20 level, then it's this year. So you see? And then if you bought back in 18, back in 20, then you see you have ripped a huge rally after that, Hopefully that's gonna be this. That's gonna be this, Oh my God, this is very, very interesting times, very scary, very scary. But you have to control your emotion, I'm in it with you, I just go through it together with you. We are in the same boat. That's why it's good to follow somebody like you who is in the same boat as you. Has his own money in the market. I have my skin in the game, so every single day, I watch the market. I'm into the market. I do my trading. I sell options. I try to also make money, even during this difficult time. I try to make some money. So, I'm in it with you. It's not something that I enjoy, but I know that at the end, this is what will happen. You see that the support for the S&P 500 is still 476. And then it slightly touched today and just rebounded again. So it seems like this support is a very strong support. But let's see if it's gonna hold this support, because so much pressure, This is crazy, Anyway, let's go continue. What is also interesting is also TLT is going down. It's going down by a lot. That's mean the 10 years yield is increasing quite a lot. You see? 2% today, the 10 years has gone back above the 4%. Now it's 4.28%, and the 30 years, 20 years, almost close to 5%. So at the same time, we have worries about a recession, employment collapse, and maybe a resurgence of inflation. And then the market is taking the bet that the Fed cannot decrease rates. So that's why the 10 years is collapsing. You see? It's collapsing by a lot. And look at the volumes of sales on the TLT. Huge volume. That's mean they are not at all. The bond market tell you that they are not at all confident that the Fed is going to reduce rate. Bearing in mind the tariff that will come into effect on the 9th of April. That means it's tomorrow. And this is going to be very inflationary. And with that, I don't think that the Fed is going to decrease rate, and the bond market is taking the same bet, So when we come back to max 7 minus 2.34, you see huge candlestick also for today, was up quite by a lot today, and then closed minus 2.3%. Oh my God, I top up the max when it was more or less 42, and now it's 40.50. So I should have waited, but can you know, look at that, 10%, almost 10% variation in one day, 10% volatility in one single trading day. You see all the roller coaster we are having in just on an intraday level, very difficult to take decision. I would say that take a decision on the long term, not on a day-by-day basis, because when you have this type of variation of 10%, you can invest, for example, on the top of the candle, and then closing by the day, you already lose 10% on your position, on your new top up. So don't look at it from that point of view, just look at it from the long term. You're investing for the long term, not for next month, not for whatever. And the RSI is also extremely oversold on the Magnificent 7. So let's look at the VIX. The VIX increased by 12%. You see, look at the candle of the VIX today. Huge candle, This is crazy, Look at this. You have a variation of 57%. 57% variation on the VIX in one day, One day. Was increased, decreased sharply, decreased to 35, then closed at 52, went to almost 60. So it doubled almost in one single day, Very, very volatile, very, very volatile. And is overbought. The VIX is overbought. RSI for the VIX is extremely overbought. So that's mean this history tells us is the best time to buy. You see, best time to buy back August last year. If we go back to the last time the VIX was this level, March 2020. Okay, it went much higher, went to 85. But you see, best time to buy when the VIX is extremely high. When the VIX is extremely high, 20 of March was the bottom of the market. You see, the higher the VIX, and it is spot on to the bottom of the market. No, I'm not telling that the VIX at 60 was the bottom of the market, but maybe it was. We will know later. But definitely the higher the VIX just mark the bottom of the market. Always happen. So if you follow blindly these rules, when the VIX peak, just buy. Just pinch your nose, just go in the market and buy. This is exactly what I did today, and I reallocated some of my portfolio holdings, and I rotated back into some of the strong players out of the weaker players. So what you can see also, I wanted to show you, just to show that the cycle might be a good cycle to buy, is you can see this chart is the number of stocks above the 5-day moving average. None of the stocks, you see, none of the stocks is above the 5-day moving average. This is the chart, number of stocks above the 150 moving average, 150 days moving average. We are at the same level back of the lows of the crisis of 2022, when we lost more or less 37% of the COVID time, and the last tariff war with Donald Trump back in 2018. And then again, back in 2015, when the market also had a very sharp correction. But you see, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, the 3 times the level of the number of stocks above the 15 days moving average, it is actually matching. It's matching exactly the bottom of the market of 2022, 2020, and 2018 from the tariff episode number 1 from Donald Trump back in 2018. So this is a clear sign that we are maybe close to bottoming in the market. You see, exactly at the same level of these 2 or 3 occasions where actually it was the best time to buy. So it's an indication also. So now if we go to the 100 moving average, the same, at the same high level. 200 moving average, look, 200 moving average, look, exactly more or less the same level as 22, 20 COVID, and 2018, the first tariff. This is clear, like, for me, this is clear, like clear water, You have the VIX signaling, it's the bottoming. You have these moving average, number of stocks above the moving average at the lowest level ever. And to find this low level, you have to go back to the previous crisis. And we talk about most severe crisis. 2022, the market collapsed by more than now. 2020, the market collapsed by more than now. And now we are exactly at the same type of level of fear and then downside from a moving average point of view. So these are clear signs of bottoming, Just show you the extreme movement we are seeing in the market. The same thing applied to the S&P 500, you know. If you look at the 50-day moving average, we are at the lowest level. You look at 150-day moving average, we have to go back to 2022, COVID time, 2018. Same story for the S&P 500. So that's what I'm telling you. I know it's very difficult. I know it's very difficult to take your nerve and to buy when we are going down. It looks like the going down is not stopping. But these charts, together with the VIX, tell you that history tell you this is the best time to buy or to top up or DCA your position, and we are close to bottoming. Okay, now if you look at some charts, some single stock, AMD, the stock just was going up today. Huge variation today again. You know, the daily candle went up to 88. Now it's back to 78. Lose $10 in one day, you know. And the volume is quite big. Volume is quite big. Massively oversold. So this is very disappointing. I actually top up AMD. I top up AMD was like 80, 84 or 82. Now it's back to 78. Oh my God, you know. Anyway, you know, SMCI. This one is holding well. No, nothing dramatic for SMCI, you know. Bitcoin hold well, really, really well. -3% only. Ethereum -6%. Ethereum is like collapsing. Ethereum is probably the better play to play the rebound than Bitcoin. And what is really being hammered is the IWM. IWM was one of my big holdings, you know. One of my worst bets that I got is IWM. IWM is having a huge volume of sales, you know. Huge volume of sales. Look at the volume that you have, and the RSI is massively oversold. And I don't understand why, because normally these domestic companies shouldn't be too much impacted by tariff because they are small companies. Small company more like US centric. But you know what? Like during the scare time, these high beta play and these high risk play, they are being sold the first. And then people are going to safe haven investment, and these are taking a huge hit. You see, we are coming back to the bottom of the channel. I told you if we break that level, high level of the channel, we risk to go back down to the bottom of the channel and to stay stuck again for another 1 year or 2 years, you know. And that's exactly what happened. We are massively oversold. And at this point, there is nothing you can do. We are back to the year of 2020. You know, we've lost 5 years. 5 years. You see, 5 years. You were already at this level, and now you are still at the same level. So if you count inflation, you lose a lot of money on the IWM. It's the dead money for so many years, you know. Very unusual. Half a decade lost for the US small cap. Half a decade lost. Very difficult. Very difficult. I'm invested in small cap, and I don't want to sell it because this type of investment is capable of doubling in few months if the market correct up. Can actually go back like easily, doubling the money and just skyrocket that you would never expect it, because so many years like doing nothing is just waiting to happen. So I don't want to be. No, I've taken all the big loss here, then I don't want to just sell, just keep it. And I'll just hold it to the long term and wait for the rebound. So what else we can check? We already see Max 7. Of course, Tesla is the biggest hit. You see Tesla holding really well. The 220 level. Despite all the negativity, despite all the volatilities, Tesla is holding really well the 220. Very, very impressive, you know. Of course, ELF, Estée Lauder, another 5% today. HIMS, 6% today. I actually sold some puts on HIMS because I think it's a great play. Just mark on the 200 moving average. And maybe I bought it to start a new position on HIMS because I think it's a long-term play, it's a technological play, but also it's a very supportive trend into the meditech, what we call the meditech. Is like a medical sector plus the tech sector, and it's a very big trend. The revenue are growing fast, really, really fast by 40% every single year. Now it's starting to be profitable. The earnings are starting to be positive. So I think it's a great story. It could be like a Palantir type story, you know. So I'm starting a small position. I sold some put at 27. I just collected $400 for 1 month. It's about 15%. And if I'm exercise, I just buy it for $2,700, and I will DCA for another. I will sell another put if it's lower, and I will build my position like that up to $10,000, you know, just to hold it for the long run. Otherwise, I think that's it for the market. We're gonna see economic data. Economic data, nothing really important, you know. Thursday, you see nothing really to discuss on the economic front. What is more interesting is more on the headlines. Look at the headlines. Stock extend decline on renewed US tariff threat against China. Trump scheduled tariff talk but planned 104% hit on China. Can you believe that? China offshore yuan hit record low after PBOC is grip. Republican senator asked who is to blame if tariffs don't plan out. This is crazy, you know, stock tumbling, putting S&P at a door of 20% drop. Even Bill Ackman is panicking, starting to panic, you know. His multi-billion funds are taking a huge hit, you know. All these billionaires supported Donald Trump started to regret. We are all wondering what this guy is doing, you know. I mean, we are pretty much understanding what he's doing, but sometimes when you push too much, you can break things, yeah. So he doesn't seem to care that he's going to break anything, you know. Nothing to lose. And it's very dangerous when you have somebody nothing to lose, you know. He's only playing with my money in the market, you know. Trillions and trillions of dollars has been erased from the economy and from the market. Can you believe that? Trillions and trillions of dollars, you know. This is crazy, you know. And this will have a real impact. This will have a real impact on the economy. It's not a joke. That wanted to tell that I saw my smaller position on my portfolio, and actually all my tail portfolio, because I got a key holdings and then after that a long tail of portfolio holdings. I just closed down all my tail portfolio holdings to reinvest all the proceeds and everything into Max 7. I got some leaps on Max 7, and then I top up my AMD, top up my Max 7, open a position on IMS, and basically this is it, you know. I want to invest as much as I can to the Max 7 because QQQ for me is a Max 7 diluted. So better to be concentrating in the best company of QQQ when the market recover. This will be the first company to recover even faster, because this one will go through the crisis. They are extremely solid company, you know. They're not gonna go bankrupt. So it's a sort of safety play, you know. Everybody, all the stock lost by 30% or more. So better close your weak position. Reallocate to the stronger one who also lose 30% or 20%, 25%, you know. It's a very good strategy to do that. Just basculate everything to the high beta stronger name, you know, like Max 7. Or some of the microchip, microcomputer like SOX, you know, that's the ETF, or SMH. This also a chip ETF. These are all going to recover the first and faster when the market rebound. That's exactly my strategy. So I just shrink the level of holdings in my portfolio and basculate everything into high beta and safer names. And also the names that I believe will benefit from all the liquidity coming back in the market. Because whether people are investing in the S&P 500, in QQQ, in all these two major index in the US stock market, all the money goes first into the top holdings. Top holdings are QQQ. Sorry, are Max 7. So the Max 7 floor is coming from all other places. They are the one we will have the highest demand. That's mean the one we're gonna skyrocket first. Okay, having said that, be courageous, be strong, don't panic, do like me, just hold on. Think about, okay, I'm gonna watch my portfolio in 6 months, or I'm gonna watch my portfolio in 3 months. If you cannot bear this volatility, just close your computer, just watch it in 3 months, in 6 months. Don't go through the everyday cycle if you cannot control your nerves and control your fear. Me, I don't care. I can control. I can see my portfolio every day. I can see the market every day. I can make an update for you. I can support you. But some people cannot bear the pain. They cannot suffer these huge losses on their portfolio. But you know, that's it. Just do that. It's a trick also. Sometimes just close and just open it in 6 months. It will be done. All of this will be done. COVID, we already forgot about it. 2022, forgot about it. 2018 first, tariff Donald Trump, we forgot about it. This one also, we all gonna forget about it. That's it. Once everybody will negotiate, everything will be done, and maybe the market will skyrocket again, because the market wants to skyrocket. The market wants to go up. They want to go up, down. Sorry, all the big dogs, they have the money in the stock market. Do you think they want to see the market collapsing? No, of course not. They have trillions of dollars they have lost already. They want to recover this money. And Donald Trump don't want to be in the midterm if the market crash like this. That's why probably he's doing it now, because people will have forget everything about it in 2026. Maybe the economy. I don't know what his plan is in his head. I can understand what he's doing, but you don't know so far what he's ready to go to. Anyway. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And thank you so much for watching this video. And talk to you tomorrow. Bye.